So welcome to Footprints in the Market. We are on episode 2, I think, of season 4. And today we are with Den Boer, who is the Director of Marketing and PR for Cevro AI. Thank you so much for coming on, Iris. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you for having me.
And it seems as if it's perfect timing because all I'm seeing just now is Cevro AI, so you're definitely doing something right.
Thank you.
So I think for us, what we typically do is we're all journey-based at Footprints in the Market. So for those of you, for some of the listeners who maybe have not quite heard of Cevro AI or yourself, if you could just give us like a walkthrough of your journey in the iGaming industry and how you got to your current role, that would be amazing.
Sure. Thank you, Sharon. So I started in iGaming over 15 years ago. Initially, I rolled into iGaming starting in customer support because I was going from a different industry, and I rolled into iGaming at CS. And quite early on, I was asked to work in responsible gaming. It's because I have a background in social cultural work. And one thing led to another. And fast forward, I ended up being in responsible gaming for 15 years across different country markets, different kinds of organizations. So I've seen a lot of the iGaming industry from a responsible gaming point of view or lens, if you will, and compliance. And that kind of branched out into embracing everything that came towards the sustainability path. So then that started to include also CSR and other social initiatives. And eventually I embraced ESG as well. And that led to me leaning into social strategies more, consulting. And then after 15 years in RG and compliance, I realized that I was really ready to see another side of the industry. And for the first time, moving away from working for an operator, moving to working for an AI solution provider. And also changing my role entirely, going from RG and compliance and social strategies and sustainability to marketing and PR. But to me, it made perfect sense because after 15 years in the industry, having such a large network, doing so much public speaking, panel speaking, moderating, I realized that I'm not shy. So when it comes to PR, I think that is something that was such a natural fit for me in this role. Marketing is newer to me, but it's something that I understood from the beginning because, well, I'm not new to this industry and I know the product really well. And I know, for example, customer support to the core because I've worked in it. I've had teams that I've guided that did customer support, that did RG support. So from an all-round perspective, I mean, this is just very full circle for me to have seen all sides of the industry and really lead in this role with knowledge and depth that I've gained through experience. Hands-on experience. So I'm really glad to use that in the role that I am in now. And maybe a little bit about Cevro AI. Cevro AI provides customer support agents, AI agents for customer support, and specifically in iGaming only. So we do not offer services to any other industries at all. It's very iGaming specific. And that is why we speak the language of the customer and the lingo of the industry. So that's why we stand out in AI, AI for CS.
You're listening to Footprints in the Market, the marketing playbook for iGaming. Expect unfiltered insight from market leaders on their industry experience, real-life case studies, pitfalls to avoid, and actionable takeaways for practical growth of your brand. Footprints in the Market is brought to you by Digital Footprints, your strategic marketing partner and safest bet in iGaming. We're talking about Cevro AI, obviously, one of the big things in marketing is to find a pain point and see how you can solve it. So what do you think the specific challenges in iGaming that Cevro AI are trying to solve it, and how are they doing that?
So the specific thing that Cevro does very well is to speak to customers in a very humanistic way. So not every AI has the same capability of connecting with the customers that Cevro does. It's a combination of things. One of the things is that Cevro connects with the customer on a deeper level because it can adjust its tone of voice and approach to a specific individual customer. It matches their tone. So that builds a connection, right? And then there is another element that it has a memory. AI agents of Cevro have a memory. So if a customer would tell the AI agent something, then the system will remember and it will bring it up, for example, in the next conversation, which feels highly specialized, personalized, sorry. And it also provides the customer an experience they don't have anywhere else. It has nothing to do with a chatbot. It's even often more pay more specific attention to a customer than a real life human AI agent would. And that is for example, the reason that there's no rush.
Yeah.
Having worked in customer support myself, there is the experience that customers are always in a queue. There's
Yeah.
always a rush to go through a conversation. With our AI agents, it's just not the case. You know, they can speak to as many customers as you like at the same time in over 120 languages. So it's highly scalable. And that brings such a difference to customer support in the way that the customer experiences reaching out for help with questions, for a chat. There's just no rush. They can just stay in the
Yeah.
chat and have a conversation about anything they like. And they will find it's a really pleasant experience. Quite often, they wouldn't even realize it's not an actual person they're talking to because of the system picking up a different tone depending on which customer it is.
Yeah, I'd actually, I listened to an interview with your CEO just last week, I think, and he was saying that actually it feels so real that some people are like asking the agents for like their Instagram handles to like connect with them. And I thought, there we go, that's definitely got the human touch.
It does. It does. It has the human touch. And then there's the other aspect, which is very ideal specifically for iGaming because it's integrated with all of your back office systems. So it can speak to the customer, and in the meantime, it can speak to an agent in the back office and get information. So it works sort of in two directions at the same time, which means it's a really fast process for the customer to get the answer that they need, and a very easy process for the people in the back office to service the customers and provide information.
And how do you feel in terms of like marketing this product? Do you feel that it's different from promoting like a traditional gaming technology? Or do you think that, people are embracing AI in all its forms and that, that's an advantage?
Well, I mean, there are pros and cons because obviously one of the difficult things is that everything's called AI nowadays, right?
Yeah.
You have a pen and you put a sticker on it, and now it's an AI pen.
Yeah.
So so that is kind of a label or a buzzword that people tend to find annoying, and it's really about explaining that it's not just the word AI, it's the experience that we're offering. Like there's so much behind that label that we're trying to explain that we're caring about player experiences. Everything's just more personalized, smarter, faster, scalable, and safer. There's also a safeguarding element where customers, whenever it's about a compliance issue or responsible gaming issue, it will be picked up by the system, even if it's really complex ways in which customers may present their issues. The system will still always understand and pick up on that. So it's just a whole elevated customer support experience. And as I mentioned, the system just has time, has time for the
Yeah.
customers. There's no rush. There's all the time in the world to have a friendly conversation, to give a good answer, to provide the right information. So to handle all players as a VIP, really.
And I think you're right. See, like your pathway, coming from that responsible gambling background, I think is really, really interesting. I think it fits so perfectly for this product. So, based on that experience, do you think the AI is just going to change the RG landscape? Do you see, like, maybe the operators who aren't, embracing it and on board in it? Do you think they'll kind of be left behind, or how do you think they'll deal with that?
Well, AI, data, different kind of systems and models have already always been important for RGE.
Yeah.
So we've seen a lot of systems, different systems that look at customer behavior, that detect customer behavior, their patterns, their spending, time spent, money spent, some verbal triggers as well. But what has always been very difficult, not difficult, but the word I'm looking for is complex to train your teams to always understand whether it is an RG related comment that a customer makes, and what to do with that specific comment. Like, how do you train your teams to take comments seriously but not
Yeah.
overreact, for example, but always give it the right kind of attention that it requires or needs, and for them to make that interpretation as well. Do I have to close the customer account straight away? Do I just
Yeah.
escalate it to another team? What do I say to the customer? How do I respond appropriately? Training your teams to be able to do so, to know what to
Yeah.
say, and to always have um alertness, to always be alert to detect. And that's a lot of trust that you're, as an
Yeah.
online casino, putting in the people that you hire, right? And
Yeah.
here's the thing, that having worked on those teams myself, and even having managed such teams across many different country markets and different um, larger, smaller online casinos, um, having been responsible for such processes, you realize how precious that is. Because
Yeah.
if you have good agents, bad agents, I wouldn't say bad agents, but
Yeah.
you have your star players and you have your other agents. and and the thing is that what I'm trying to say is that even your best agents could have a bad day, and that could be
Yeah.
really costly for the company, but also really detrimental to your customer, to their experience, or maybe even to their safety, right? So there's a lot of elements that you are risking when you are trusting your customer support teams to always pick up on that. And the difference with AI is that it just wouldn't miss
Yeah.
such indications, and then that creates an opportunity for to retrain your customer support team to say, handle the tickets that our system detects and raises, and look
Yeah.
at those specifically, taking out all of the noise and all of the distractions, and have them very clearly understand like what is needed or required for the specific issue, and is it handled appropriately already by the system, or is there an additional action required, which, having worked in this industry, is actually just such a dream come true, and is also why I'm so enthusiastic about this product, that it has
Yeah.
everything. It has the customer experience, it has the understanding how to talk to people in the back office and how to communicate and actually resolve issues. It has no rush, it has all the attention for detail, speaks the lingo of the industry, and yeah, provides safeguarding as well in a way that we haven't had it before. So I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many benefits, and I'm truly so excited that obviously, or else I wouldn't be working for this company and have made this move. But having the understanding of having worked with these processes, I see that this is such a game changer. We just didn't have this in the past, and they were all manual processes that all had to connect, and all had to be checked, and all had to be reviewed, and all had to be monitored, and that all the review and monitoring is an indication that there's always an opportunity, there's always a risk for one of these elements to fall through the cracks, or to go wrong, or for mistakes to be made. And they, as an operator, you just really cannot afford to make such mistakes, and you shouldn't
Yeah.
if there's these kind of solutions that are provided, right?
Yeah. 100%. Do you think that there's any like misconceptions from operators about integrating these kind of tools into the player experience? Has there kind of been any challenges or any sort of like, myth busting that you want to do about AI and how that can be beneficial for RG?
Yeah, I think that one of the myths, of course, it not that long ago, I was on a panel where one of the operators mentioned that they thought that AI couldn't do the job very well because it would maybe not always understand certain context, right?
Okay.
Or even the association with a chatbot, where customers really are just not having a conversation. They're just presented with different sort of issues that might ring a bell, or might be um, close to their issue, where they're maybe led to some sort of knowledge page where they need to study the whole process of the company, and then in order to
Yeah.
understand how to resolve their issue. It's nothing like that at all, but that association still exists. And then there is maybe an idea that it could be all difficult to integrate, or that it's all very, very costly. I hear that a lot. I've been on panels and
Yeah.
I hear other panelists say AI is really expensive. AI is really expensive. I mean, I'm not here to speak about the costs, but I can just promise you that if you look at what it costs to run an operation, train new people, hire new people, search
Yeah.
for new people go on holidays, people get sick, people go um, on leave, people will maybe join the company and realize it's not for them, or get another offer somewhere else. Everyone knows in iGaming, it's not a secret that um, customer support is a kind of place where um, staff comes and goes. It really is.
Mhm.
Like it's very rare for people to sit in customer support and be there for a really long time and be a knowledge base and be like, have all the knowledge and carry that with them throughout like their customer support career, because it's just a kind of stepping stone for a lot of people, which means they're
Yeah.
just never there to stay. And they almost always know that. It's the kind of attitude they have as well, which means it's very difficult to have a really high level of knowledge within your customer support teams.
Yeah.
Of course, there's all sorts of tools that can help them. And I'm not saying traditional customer support is bad, not at all. I'm just saying that, for example, AI can make it a lot easier, more efficient, more scalable. There's just a lot of positives around using AI. One remark I would like to make, though, is that I think that there is another misconception where a lot of people are saying, is AI then replacing all of the
Mhm.
human touch, right?
Mhm.
In a casino. And it's actually the opposite. AI knows how to connect with customers really, really well. And like AI, like regular agents who wouldn't have a bad day or an off day, or be distracted, or, be under the weather, or
Yeah.
whatever happens.
Footprints in the Market is sponsored by BetComply, because in iGaming, compliance isn't just a tick box exercise. From new market entry to ever changing regulations, BetComply keeps you one step ahead. Don't risk it, own it. Head to betcomply.com and take control of your compliance today. So in terms of AI in marketing, how do you guys use that at all for Cevro AI, or do you think that that fits into marketing teams today? How do you see that?
Um, AI and marketing, yeah. So there is so many positive and exciting things about our AI and about our solution that it's not very hard to do the marketing around it, right? I think that to explain that you're creating a safer, smoother, more personalized journey for customers using AI. The marketing element is an element that comes quite naturally, but I think that um something that I emphasize is that good marketing, I believe, is built on trust and clear communication. So not just growth targets. It's something that I think matters.
I think as well, I think you're absolutely right about trust. And I think for you guys, literally just before I come on this call, I seen that you've got this new partnership with Every Matrix. And I think these kind of partnership stories and case studies, those kind of things automatically kind of build that trust and, give you that kind of content to generate.
Yeah, yeah, that's correct. Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, we've just announced another partnership with Every Matrix. We have a lot of announcements that we've recently done and will be making. So it's just a
Hmm.
massive upward motion for us in that sense, onwards and upwards, I would say. And that gives a lot of opportunity for us to do a lot of marketing and events around that. And there's so many exciting things coming up as well. We've just had Sigma, and then already we're
Yeah.
preparing for ICE, right, in January.
Yeah.
So a lot of opportunities to do a lot of really cool things, not just for marketing, but PR as well.
Amazing. And in terms of the future, in terms of the industry, outlook side of things, do you see any sort of regulatory shifts that might reshape iGaming over the next 2 or 3 years? It might affect, how you push your product, or how do you see that looking in years to come?
So a topic that comes back a lot is where we realize that regulation is always a little bit behind from technical developments, right?
Mm,
Um, it's not new. It's something you see over and over again. Whenever something new arises, then it's always a matter of regulation sort of catching up with whatever happens next. But we see it that a lot of regulators are seeing how to work best with AI, which AI, how to use it, what rules to shape around that. Some countries already have AI systems that they have set as mandatory for their online casinos to use. And then, of course, there's a lot of new discussions that arise around that, like how do we then use it, or how are we supposed to apply it? Because then the regulation is maybe not always clear enough. But that's
yeah,
just something that we're kind of used to, right? Um, but yeah, no, there's going to be a lot of things happening with regards to regulation and AI. They're only beginning to catch up, really.
yeah. And in terms of the operators, do you think that they are currently using these kind of predictive tools to their full potential, or do you think that, there's still a way to go in the future in terms of bridging that gap?
There is a lot to be done, but I think that online casinos are understanding there is such benefit in using good AI for the customer support, because we already touched on the topic before, put a sticker on a pen with AI, say it's an AI pen now. That kind of concept this is where online casinos can now make a difference in terms of competition, right? Because of competition, this industry just moves really fast. It's always looking for the next technical development. How can we be better than our competitors? And for our customers, how can we work faster, smarter, skill harder, right? And I think that this is a moment where you will be able to see like which casinos make which decisions, and
Yeah,
how does that look for them, and how will that work out.
yeah,
Of course I have my ideas about that, and those are probably obvious, so I'm not going to mention it, but I think that it makes sense to focus on the things that you're good at and that you're already doing, and then yeah, I guess implement the AI that would fit your operation and make you stand out and fast um propel your operation forward.
and we always like to sort of like round off Iris with some like sort of personal insights, if that's all right. So we've talked about, maybe like misconceptions about AI as a whole, but do you think there's been misconceptions from people about, your work or the industry at all, or has that ever been a thing for you? Has there ever been a misconception that people kind of have about the iGaming space that you kind of wish wasn't there?
I've been working in iGaming for so long that I think I've developed a little bit of a blind spot to it.
Yeah,
I don't think I see it as much anymore. It's also because you're really surrounded by people in the industry, right? It becomes your
yeah,
whole network, it becomes your life. And at some point, you're talking to so many like-minded people, or so many people within the same sphere, that you kind of I developed, I think, a blind spot to how
yeah,
other people would perceive our industry. On the
yeah,
other hand, I mean, I know very well how it's perceived because I've done responsible gaming for 15 years. So I know the ideas that people would have about our industry.
yeah,
But yeah, I think when I said blind spot, I mean that I do understand how it's
yeah,
perceived. I just don't believe it's a correct perception. So it's not
yeah,
really information that I do too much with at this point, because I've already spent a lot of time explaining how online casinos care for their customers,
yeah,
and how much effort goes into that, how much effort goes into
exactly.
responsible gaming, keeping customers safe, keeping
Yeah,
customers protected, guiding customers in making the right decisions, and nudging them to play safely. So
yeah,
I see so much that goes into it that um, I'm reluctant to to hear all the negative. There are
Yeah.
there are always, customers that can be affected. One is one too many. This is just something that our industry, I think, takes a lot of responsibility for. But there's always the topic that everyone is really just talking about right now is the black market offering, right? Like, are
Yeah.
customers safe there? No. Are they protected? No. Do the customers understand the risks there, or are they pointed out to the customers in the black market? No, probably not. So that is sort of a big point that everyone is really aware of right now. So when you're talking about like maybe a misconception, this is something that affects our industry really negatively, because the differentiation between black market and regulated and licensed online casinos blurs the perception, right? So quite often you'll see an article where it's describing an online casino being fined, or a customer winning a lawsuit for having for the casino having failed their duty of care, right? Or anything around that. And then somewhere it gets lost in translation that whatever issue
Yeah.
is highlighted is maybe not an issue for a licensed casino or a regulated market. So that just blurs the whole perspective and kind of erases a little bit of the really, really good work a lot of people have been
Yeah.
doing for compliance, responsible gaming, and
Yeah.
sustainability really for our industry. So that is a shame, yeah.
Um, And in terms of Cevro AI, has there been like one campaign or initiative that you've kind of been most proud of? I know obviously I just touched on some, a couple of the partnerships. Is there something that really stands out since you guys have launched?
I mean, so much has happened for us already. We have had so many milestones. I've just
Yeah.
published our newsletter last Monday, so that was just honestly such a party to create a newsletter and to realize how many things we've accomplished so far. The things that stand
Yeah.
out to me personally are the things that I've been really involved in, which are the relaunch of our brand.
Yeah.
That was really big for us and a really cool thing to do. And we got so much love for basically showing who we are and demonstrating our brand and our voice, and yeah, celebrating this as a company. So that was really, really cool. It was a really nice experience to have. And another thing that we really enjoyed was our first booth at Sigma.
Yeah.
So that was a big deal, of course. I think that right now everything is a really big deal to us. So
Yeah.
we had the rebrand, we had Sigma, we're having Eyes and a booth there. Lots of panel speaking opportunities, webinars, podcasts, this amazing podcast as well, and this opportunity. Thank you for that. Yeah, I think just in general, we're on such an upward spiral. But one of the um, big milestones that we announced today is, of course, a partnership that we have with Every Matrix. That is
Mhm.
a great partnership for us to have, and it will be a game changer for iGaming and customer support. Really making customer support and AI um, the bread and butter for iGaming.
Footprints in the Market is brought to you by Digital Footprints, your strategic marketing partner and safest bet in iGaming. Make your mark and work with us to drive growth and innovation for your iGaming business. Amazing. Well, typically we always kind of try and sign off, Iris, with a sort of nugget of wisdom or advice. So you've obviously been in the iGaming industry for a long time, over 15 years. If you could give one piece of advice to a new entrant, somebody just joining the iGaming industry, what would that be?
Well, I don't think wise advice would be taken from me, but if I had to just give personal advice, maybe rephrase it
Yep.
like that.
Okay.
I think that one of the things I would say is be curious. Not one, I'm going to give a few. Be curious, be inspired, love what you do. If you're not loving what you're doing, go do something else. It could still be in iGaming, but I think that is something that is really important, that you have to be in love with what you're doing, and then everything else will just flow and fall into place for you. Always lift others up, right? be a champion for others around you. And this industry is really small, so anyone who you can sort of right, lend a hand, I guess, is always something that comes back to you times three in positive way,
Yeah.
I think, in this industry. And it's something that I've always really cherished about this industry. I mean, there's so many people working in iGaming, but at the end of the day, it's just really a small world,
Yeah.
which I really love. And I think that anyone who is genuinely really excited about this industry and about growing and making a career in this industry is definitely able to, just by showing up and by being enthusiastic and giving it their all. I think then anything is possible.
I love it. I love it. Perfect. Thank you so much, Iris. I really, really appreciate you coming on this podcast and sharing your experiences about Cevro AI and your journey in iGaming. So thank you so much. And everybody, Cevro AI, they'll be at ICE. You've got a booth right there as well, haven't you?
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So make sure you go check them out.
Thank you so much, Sharon.
Thank you.